Hey guys, so MSH Garage here bringing you a hot update. So, guess what dropped last night was the Mach E Mustang bomb that Ford was talking about and really hyping up. So, I just wanted to give you a couple of thoughts and, kind of my own perspective on what I thought about this new, hybrid driven Mustang that Ford is releasing. So, first off, I'll say from the top, I'm actually pretty impressed and like it overall. And a lot of you may be saying, "What could this guy be thinking?" I mean, he's a Mustang fan. He really, I've loved Mustangs all the way through the '60s generations. How does that jive? Well, I'll say that even from a performance perspective, electrics have a lot to offer. I'm not a dinosaur. I see what's on the horizon, what's in the future, and I'm not going to get into details in this video about my personal opinions about electric vehicles and their performance and other things. But the bottom line is, I think it's a great idea on Ford's part, and I think it's great that they're really entering their hat into a competitive and hot growing field right now. Now I'm going to get into my thoughts a little bit about how I feel about them calling it a Mach E and calling it a Mustang. But overall, I was really impressed. When I saw the images of it in the pictures, I was kind of in between about the vehicle and its looks. It's an SUV type vehicle. It looked quite high off the ground. But one thing that blew me away in the video and the reveal is that when somebody actually got out of the vehicle and they compared it, and you see it next to the S550, and boy, does it look exactly akin to the S550. It isn't nearly as 4x4 and as off the ground as it really appears. It does have a much more sleek and sexy looking body to it than I actually anticipated. So kudos to Ford and how they designed it and how they made it look. Now, yeah, there's a couple of things about it. It does, kind of reminisce of a Tesla still, but it does have its own unique characteristic to it. And I was really enjoyed that Ken Block in the video got a chance to drive it. He legitimately seemed pretty impressed with how the thing performed and how it drove on the track, that little snippet that they showed. So I think this car is going to really surprise a lot of people and actually has a lot of great facets to it. And to be quite honest, when we were looking at replacing the 2014 V6, this was actually the car that I was looking for. Not from a Mustang perspective, but from a family car perspective. This is the car that I actually, to be quite honest, really wanted. Now, not that I dislike Chandra, not that I dislike the Challenger that we're driving to work right now. It's a really enjoyable vehicle. I love the all-wheel drive. It has great, aspects to it. But really, I was hoping that Ford would come out with some hybrid-powered, more sporty-looking vehicle that had at least a hybrid in it, if not an electric motor, and this really fit the bill. As a family vehicle, I think it is a home run. Absolutely perfect. The interior, you have that little dash in front of you that you actually get your display, your speedo, and for your important gauges that are right in front of you. Some vehicles don't do that as well, and you get the massive, of course, tablet that's in the center. It seems like it has plenty of space, and like I said, it really has a sleeker look than I anticipated. Seeing it next to the S550, it really isn't that much higher up off the ground. To be quite honest, it's probably on par with the Challenger that we're in right now in Chandra. So it probably has that stance to it. So you'll be able to see over things, but it isn't grossly, over the top and really that high. Also, I like how in the video, Ford kind of targeted and indirectly trashed Elon Musk. Now, I'll throw that into another video, too, and say why I don't like Elon Musk. But the bottom line is that Ford targeted Elon Musk and targeted Silicon Valley in his statement saying that everyone thinks the innovations come out of Silicon Valley. Well, not today. It came out of Detroit. And I think they are right in a lot of regards with that. So I really like overall that releasing this car as a, Mustang-inspired sort of, hybrid performance vehicle. Now, let's get into some of the things that I'm not really, maybe not quite as big of a fan of. So, one thing I have to say, it does have the traditional hybrid look inside. It has the tablet. So for everything that they tried to make it look good, it also still has a very traditional look to it inside for a, for an electric powered vehicle. I really strive and I really long for that sort of just traditional, in cockpit feel with the speedo and the traditional gauges inside. I really do enjoy that, and I kind of miss that analog feel in some of those cars. But again, like I said, for an everyday vehicle, having an all-wheel drive option that's electric driven and obviously much better fuel economy than any gasoline-powered car you can have, that's really a home run. The interior side, and of course the rear end also looks a little wonky. I mean, they tried to put the Mustang into it, but it looks a little off. It has a kind of that, hatchback shell look to it, but it doesn't look as bad as I mentioned as I thought it was going to look. Now, the one thing I will say is that, as far as an absolute performance vehicle, it probably, the one thing the electrics aren't going to be able to replace is that kind of analog connectivity. And I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail, but that analog connectivity that you feel in the road with a gasoline-powered car, feeling that throttle response, hearing the engine roar. I mean, those things are going to be tough to replace. And I'm sure for all the thrills and all the fun that that car is going to be providing, that you're going to miss a little bit of that in a traditional Mustang. Now, down to brass tacks, and the final thing I have to say about the car is that, should they call it a Mustang? Well, this is a hot button issue with everybody. And Jalopnik had a really good article, and I don't mean to steal their thunder or copy off what they're saying, but they really vibe with me and really hit the nail on the head. And what I think is very true, and that is that the vehicle, I mean, you can call it a Mustang, and Ford can say whatever they want about it. And granted, it does have a much better look than I anticipated, but just because you call it a Mustang doesn't necessarily make it a Mustang. And not because it's, something that I'm ashamed of because it's part of the Ford branding and, you can't call it a Mustang. There have been plenty of lame duck Mustangs out there that have come out throughout the ages and have been duds. I mean, let's not even get into the Mustang 2 and a series of other Mustangs that have come out there. There have been plenty of Mustangs that have quote-unquote besmirched the Mustang name. It has nothing to do with that, and has nothing to do with it being an electric vehicle. I think it is a fantastic idea. Look at that Mustang Lithium that just came out and released at SEMA. Hot idea. What I think it just has to come down to more of is that, they're turning Mustang into a brand and not just a vehicle. And that's okay for Ford to do, but I think I'd prefer that it doesn't carry the running pony. Not because, like I said, not because I'm ashamed, but because, the Mustang's not an SUV. It's never been an SUV. So to call it a Mustang, I don't know. It looks a lot better than I would have anticipated. It's a lot lower to the ground, and I'm sure the performance is going to be banging. But the thing is, I think I would have preferred better if they would have left it as a Mach E and just put the Mach E badging up there and called it a Mach E and left it at that. I can tell you, when it first got revealed that they were calling this thing possibly a Mach 1, I was up in arms, and and people in the Ford community were up in arms across the board and calling it a Mach 1. Now that has a lot more, performance connotations associated with it, and they would have really had to do something fantastic. And if they would have called a Mustang-inspired SUV a Mach 1, that would have been a travesty. So I'm very happy they at least went with the Mach E, but I think the thing that nobody really anticipated is calling it a Mustang. And, I mean, I'm happy to call it as a part of the family, and I really do enjoy it. Like I said, I think I'd be liking to get one in the future as a family vehicle. But to call it a Mustang, I'll leave that with you guys and see what you guys think. So you can go ahead and comment below and give me your feedback. So click the like and subscribe button below if you like this video. If you didn't, you can trash me. And go ahead and follow me on Instagram as well if you like. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you later.